Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be a short video on the bog barrels that I did outside. So I've never done a video just on the bog barrels before, but when I made a video in April of a greenhouse update, I included a 2-minute clip with no sound or anything showing the original planting. So in that video I showed you this drawing. And this was basically my planting layout for the barrels. So I've got 2 of them which have been outside since the start of the year when I planted up. So I planted them up in February, and well, they're basically established a bit better. Some of the planting in one of the barrels isn't as great as I would have liked it, but they've kind of had like a rocky start. So I'm hoping that they will do a lot better in the following year once they've established fully. So this video is just going to recap that. So I'm going to go outside in a second and detail each plant that's in there, and things I might change or what's working for me, and basically just cover all that. So those who don't remember what they look like originally, or how small the plants were, I'll put a picture over this video just to show you, obviously to recap. But I'll go outside now and show you what's established. Don't get too excited. I would say that some of the stuff isn't as good as I would like it. So one of the barrels especially went for a bit of damage, but I won't say any more. I'll just go straight out there and show you, and you can be the judge of what you think of them. Okay, so this is the first barrel that I'm going to show you, which I would say is the least impressive of mine. So as you can see, the planting in this one is a bit scarce. Everything's quite small. I would say the best things that are growing in here are these Pinguicula grandiflora. So as you can see, they are probably even better than the ones I've got in my greenhouse, because they have split and divided into multiple plants. So you can see they've done really well, because each plant has got a thing, good couple on there. There is some, like this one, which hasn't split yet. I have had to replace a couple of these, but they're doing well. So obviously eventually I'll get loads of them, and when they flower I think that will look really nice. So that'll be hopefully next year, maybe could even take a couple of years, because they were from Gamier, so they are still very young. So Sarracenia I've got in here. I've got a small purpurea. This one is a common bog plant, so it can go down to a really cold temperature, minus 20 degrees. So this one's probably the best one that's established in here. So as you can see, it's quite small as it is anyway. It's not meant to be a big plant. I did buy it small, but it's got some nice coloration on here. I'm probably saying it's one of the best Sarracenia in here. The other 2 Sarracenia I put in here, so I was going for a reddy green theme in here. The other one's got a copper theme. So this is my Sarracenia rubra warrii, and this one didn't start off great, and it hasn't really recovered. The biggest point here, so it's got about 4 separate growing points on here, but the biggest point in the rhizome did suffer some aphid damage right when I planted this, and as you can see, the traps are still quite deformed. But I have got some nice ones at the back coming. It did flower, as you can see, when I planted these, they were in the flower, and they are now quite small. So the flower, I'm not really sure how well that's come out. And I might even cut that off, just because it doesn't look great. It's not a great sight, but that is a nice plant. I'm probably going to take that out and replace it with a different plant, because I don't think it's liking it, or it's not growing as much as I wanted it to. So I think it'd definitely be better in the greenhouse. This capensis here was just part of the moss, so I've incorporated some moss hoping that it would spread over. It doesn't really rain much where I live, and as you can see, it has rained thankfully, but the situation I give this is gets quite dry. So this tube in the middle shows me where the water line is, and I can water in here because it's got the holes at the side which help the water spread. So I've got a Bonata in here, which is part of the division of my Drosa Bonata var dictamata. So it's got the staghorn leaves, but it's quite a small clump of it, which has really grown quite nicely and has even got a flower on it. So I've got 3 fly traps in here as well. These ones were quite small, they were some of my rescue fly traps which I've shown before. So they are starting to get longer PTLs as well. They didn't look great when I put them in here, but everything kind of remained on the small side. Of course, these are reasonably small plants. Biggest plant in here is this Sarracenia flavivar rubicorpora. However, it hasn't coloured up that well. It's got a nice, big, tall trap. But again, damaged, also suffered with some aphid damage. I'd say this whole bog plant kind of suffered compared to the other one. But this one's meant to be nice red all over with a dark red throat, which it's kind of got the throat but not really the colour on the picture. But again, I might take this one out and replace it with a different kind of colour scheme, something maybe is a bit more hardier. But that is the first one. Again, I might put some other plants in here and maybe incorporate some like different bits of wood, make it look a bit more decorative. This one is quite plain, so I'll show you this compared to the other one. Okay, and this is my second planter. As you can see from the word go, this is probably the most impressive one that I've got. The Sarracenia I've put in here are really tall, loving life, and all the other plants that I've placed in here have established nicely as well. Again, they still need, I'll probably say, till next year to properly establish, but everything in this one does look a lot better. So if I start with a Sarracenia, this Sarracenia purpurea cross Catsby, hence why it's got the more upright pictures but the purpurea lid and still that kind of short shape. This one has got a lovely colour, definitely one of my favourite plants. It's got obviously this really nice red but copper colour. However, this one again, when I first put it in here, had some slug damage as well. It got eaten quite a lot, but as you can see, as it's matured, it's suffered less damage and got more pictures. So again, this one's got 3 fly traps, but as you can see, they are bigger and have coloured up and got a lot taller than the others. This one I did have to replace. There was only 2 left in here. For those of you who've heard in my previous videos and probably could hear now, I have a lot of birds where I live, so I have suffered a few losses due to birds. So birds do like to take the moss, especially out of this one. I've had to replace a lot of moss in this one, and they've even taken one of these fly traps, which I'm no stranger to. They've done it before. As well as this, I've got the little Droseras in here. So this is a Drosera rotundifolia. In this gap here, I had a few Drosera rotundifolias and anglicas, but they have died off because they were quite small to begin with, and I've just got this one left. So I think maybe I should start them from seed, because I do have some seed left over, and I might replace them from seed, but I'm not really too fussed about that. That wasn't the original plan in here. I even stuck a Pinguicula grandiflora in here as well, just for good measures really. This one was, you know, just a bit more decorative. I could fit a bit more in here. But both of these bog planters were experimental to begin with. It's not like I really intended anything to do really well, or, you know, picked it specifically on what would do well. It was more of a bit of fun and games, and I will change it around to what works best. So if I go to this Sarracenia flavivar ornata, green swamp, it's got some really nice thin pencil-like veins. This throat is like almost triangular, which I really like. It's really different to my other Sarracenias, and I didn't even expect it to look like this. I kind of picked this one purely based on looks, and I wasn't really sure what I'd get, but this one has done really well, and definitely going to keep this one in here. This one, however, the Sarracenia flavivar cupri is amazing. So the copper colour on this and the subtlety of the pictures and the veins is just amazing. So it's got this nice yellow lid, but deep coloration on the inside of the throat and top of the lids, so it looks even nicer with the rain on it. And as you can see, it's got multiple pictures and flower, which has been successful as well. So yeah, this one was definitely the best looking in here. However, despite how well it's done, and probably the best thing that's done in here, I am likely to replace it, only because I think it would look better as a greenhouse specimen rather than staying in here, although I do like it in here as a whole, but I think maybe I will take it. I'm not really sure, so don't know what people's opinion on that would be. And then this Filiformis, again, aphid damage on this is why it's looking a bit straggly, but it's got a lot of dew on it and it's got its fair share of flowers. But this nice division again will stay in here, and it's looking lovely. And for good measures, because they come up in all my pots, I put a fern in here, which might have been a mistake purely because I have had to cut it back. It is spreading everywhere, but again, like I said, I just placed stuff in here because I thought it would look nice, and I will change it about. But that is the second one, which I think is a lot better, and that is basically it for the bog barrel. So like I said, it's just going to be a short video just showing, you know, the bog planters. So I really hope that you have enjoyed looking at them, and thank you for watching.